So today's topic we're going to be talking about is how you can sell your home and pay $0 in taxes on the gain from this sale. So essentially, I'm going to teach you how you can sell your home tax-free. What's up, family? How we doing? We're back again with another episode of Tax-Free Living, where I teach entrepreneurs just like you how to live tax-free. But today's episode is different, all right? This episode is not just for entrepreneurs. This episode is for everybody out there, well, at least almost everybody out there, because you all know that I love making content strictly for entrepreneurs because the tax code was created to benefit entrepreneurs and business owners. But today is different. Today, I got a tax strategy that can help many of you all at home. So be sure to stay to the end and watch the total episode because I got some gems for you all today. But first, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that share button. Anybody you know who's a homeowner, make sure they watch this episode. So when I looked it up this morning, I didn't know this, but did you all know this? As of 2023, 68% of Americans are homeowners. I did not know that. 68% of Americans are homeowners. And within the last 2 years, we've seen a heighten of people selling their homes because now that COVID has happened, a lot of people don't have to go into the offices to work anymore. So people are now moving to different locations that they would rather live, that probably has better weather, lower cost of living. So people are moving at a higher frequency than in the past because they have more location freedom. So I thought it was a perfect time to release this episode teaching you all how you can sell your home and pay zero taxes on the gain. So let's get into the strategy because I want to make sure you all have it and you all use it before you sell that home that you currently have. There's something in the tax code, in IRS Code Section 121, which is called the Homestead Exemption, okay? The Homestead Exemption. And the Homestead Exemption states that if you're single, you can sell your home and make a profit of up to $250,000 and pay no capital gains taxes on that profit. And if you're married, it doubles. So if you're married, you can sell your home for a profit of $500,000 and pay $0 in tax and capital gains tax on this sale. So that is the homestead exemption, but there are some vital rules and tests that you have to make sure you follow in order to not exclude yourself from the homestead exemption. And we're going to talk about those tests and talk about how you can make sure you don't break the rules so that you can actually take advantage of this deduction. So the two rules for the homestead exemption are as follows. Rule number 1 is the use test, and rule number 2 is the ownership test. So I actually want to start with the ownership test first because it's the easiest. So the ownership test says that if you want to qualify for the homestead exemption, you have to be the owner of the residence at least 2 out of the last 5 years. So you have to be the person on the title at least 2 out of 5 years. That means if you transfer the title into a LLC by doing a quick claim deed, you might eliminate yourself from taking the homestead exemption. That also means if you decide to transfer the title of your property from yourself to your trust, right? You might also be disqualifying yourself from taking the homestead exemption. So these are all things you need to think about before transferring the title of your property into another name. Because if you plan on selling that property, you might not want to do that because you don't want to lose out on $250,000 or $500,000 in tax-free money. Right? So you have to be, the ownership test says you have to be the owner of the property at least 2 out of the last 5 years. So be careful when thinking of transferring the title of your property to a LLC or a trust or someone else because this is going to play a vital role. Test number 2 is the use test. And this is where most people disqualify themselves. So the use test states that if you want to be able to take the homestead exemption, you need to reside in the primary residence at least 2 out of the last 5 years. So this gives us a few interesting scenarios that we are able to take, right? So let's think about it. If you bought a property and you lived in there for 2 years, but then you rented it out for 2 years, and then you try to sell it, are you qualified or disqualified, right? Well, if you stayed there year 1 and year 2, and you moved somewhere year 3 and year 4, that's still 2 out of the last 5 years. So you still qualify for the use test, which most people don't realize. And most people think it has to be the latest 2 years or the first 2 years, but no, as long as you stay there 2 out of the last 5 years. And here's another scenario, right? So we had a student in our mentorship program. She lived in our house for 1 year and then rented it out for 2 years, and she was about to sell it. Thank God we caught her in time. We said, you don't want to do this. You don't want to make this sale yet, because if you make this sale, you are not qualified for the homestead exemption, and you're going to have to pay taxes on, I think, $175,000 of profit that she was going to have. So what we did instead was, so she lived in there the first year, she rented it out for 2 years, and then we advised her to move back in for 1 more year and then sell the property. And guess what happened? Not only did living in that property an extra year qualify her for the homestead exemption, her property value actually went up another $40,000. So now she had $215,000 worth of tax-free profit from the sale of the property, because she had to pay no capital gains tax. So again, it doesn't have to be 2 years in a row. You can live in it 1 year, you can rent it out 2 years, but go live in there another year before you sell it so that you can qualify for the homestead exemption. Like, guys, there are few places in the tax code that give us such an easy way of avoiding taxes. Like, literally, you can avoid $250,000 or $500,000 of capital gains tax simply by residing somewhere 2 out of 5 years and keeping your name on the title for 2 out of 5 years. So please do not miss out on this super, super easy tax loophole by just not knowing. And again, that's the purpose of this channel, guys. I want to give you the resources, the tools, and the rules, so come tax time, you ain't looking like a fool, right? Because I don't want you to overpay taxes when you do not have to. So again, guys, IRS code section 121, the homestead exemption, allows you to sell your home up to $250,000 in profit or $500,000 in profit with no capital gains tax if you follow the rules. Okay, so comment below if this video was helpful, if you're a homeowner and you thought about selling your home, but you didn't know this, but you came to this video and it saved you so much money. And this is what we do it for, guys. We're here. The purpose of this channel is to equip you all with information, education, motivation, inspiration, and let you all know that the more that you learn, the more that you earn. So that's it, guys. I'll see you all on the next video. Peace.